It's a 24 F150 Tremor 402A, and I'm going to work on the upfitter switches right now. I got a wiring harness from F150 forum. A guy, his username is cblacks19, I believe. And it's a wiring harness where you can connect onto the harness that Ford leaves underneath the hood, and it leaves you with a nice wiring loom where you can connect on easily. So let's have a look. So it took a little bit of digging, and I believe on the 23s and older, you have your own separate panel here with fuses, and the bundle is tied up underneath it, just taped dead-ended. They only give you, about that much space to work with, but for 24s and up, it is not right there. I read that it is underneath the battery tray, but I was just doing some digging around, and right here by the battery, there they are. They are colored, they are dead-ended, and I can get it on. There's a piece of red tape. So apparently there's a bundle with white tape and a bundle with red tape, and the ones with the red are where you want to hook onto for your wiring harnesses and your accessories. This is the kit that you get from cblacks19, 2 X's in that, by the way. Pretty complete, very nicely done, very good quality. All the plugs are nice, everything's labeled, everything's neat. Everything, you will notice that a couple of them are a bigger wire than the rest, 10 amps I believe versus 5, because a couple of the switches have a bit more amperage. Everything's labeled. You can see auxiliary 5, auxiliary 2, even comes with some connectors with solder in them. Overall, I mean, I'm pretty impressed with the kit. So let's go take a look at where this goes on the truck. So using my test light, I was able to work the switches inside, come out here one by one and verify. I snipped the top off of each of these so I could touch it with the test light. And I turn on switch 1, come out and verify that the color for switch 1 was working, and then so on for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I did find that in the instructions that came with the harness, it said a green-blue wire was switch 3. I don't have a green-blue, but I have a solid yellow, and that did turn out to be switch 3. So just pay attention to your instructions and kind of verify before you start. So using my wire strippers, these are a cool tool to have, but you can use a knife if you don't have it. You can see they grip the wire and pull it, strip it off. Works well. But a knife or a pair of snips will do the same. And now I've got to prepare the wiring harness, which I think is already cut. So yeah, so I'm just going to pull these off and use these connectors and put them together and get the heat gun and solder. So let's do that. I'm ready to join those. You can kind of fray out each end and slide one of the connectors over and then push them together. Kind of do a little twist, slide the connector over so that the solder part is over the copper wire. Heat it with your heat gun, which should seal on both sides and melt the solder in the middle. So I frayed the ends of the violet and green, which is switch 1. And I've also got auxiliary 1 wire. And I pushed them together and then slid the connector, kind of twist them a little bit as much as I could. And I slid the connector over. The soldering portion is right over where the connections join. And now I'll use my heat gun and shrink these together. And we should see the solder melt and flow into the copper. So that worked pretty well. You can see the solder actually melted in around the copper a bit, and gave it a tug. It's nice and solid. Make sure you let it cool. Okay, all on. You could actually see the solder melt through some of them. It was kind of nice. They're all solid connections. I gave them a tug, and they're all good. And now is the ground, which is on the end of this cable. So it says you can put it on the negative battery. I'm wondering if it's better or to put it on an existing ground bolt on the frame. So I'm gonna kind of lay this out and see how it positions and get the battery back in. I'll also tape these up. I'll put some electrical tape on these just to keep them together, make it look neater. and then see where the ground can reach and where's the best place to put it, and get the battery back in and test everything. All right, apologies for the noise because my neighbor's getting a new roof, so lots of nailing going on up there. But here it is. I covered it in quality electrical tape, kind of tucked it down in there, and I got the ground onto the bolt right here. So instead of stretching over top of the battery, it wouldn't quite reach around that way or this way. So I put it here on this ground here. I already tested it. So with the test light, activating the switches one by one, and everything works as it should. So let me see if I can find an accessory and see if we can demonstrate it. So I'm gonna tuck these down, probably down by the side right here. But just for demonstration, I've just got a 12-volt light that I had kicking around the garage. Just got it hooked up. I've got it on auxiliary number 4. So let's pop in and see if that works. Inside, I hooked this to auxiliary number 4. So you can tell no light out there yet. I'll leave it off, but I'll start the truck. And now I'll hit switch 4. And there it is. You can see it. I think a couple of these switches are supposed to be power full time, so the truck doesn't need to be started. So I'll do a little bit of homework and see if that is the case. From my initial testing, none of them have power unless the truck is on. So I need to check into that. I hope this video helps you. 24 is a little different than 23s and earlier. So I couldn't really find a video that showed me how to do it. So hopefully this works for you.